And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show, guys. This is live, raw, and uncut sports talk here on this Tuesday afternoon with my man Marcus. Marcus, how you doing today?
What's going on, man? Football has officially it's
Huh,
it's right around the corner, and college football is in full swing. So
it
it's
is.
really good. It's a really good time for me. I
Yeah,
love it.
this is possibly the best time of year. High school football starting,
Yeah.
college football season just finished their week one with the Louisville Notre Dame game last night, which I was a part of, which was a very exciting atmosphere there in
Wow.
Louisville. And then, of course, NFL season starts in less than 52 hours away with the Green Bay
Yes.
Packers and the Bears. So with everything that's happening, football taking in full swing, we're still in off-season talks with the Dallas Cowboys and a couple other teams, San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers, I should say. Uh, over the weekend, talks between the Dallas Cowboys and Zeke Elliott started to gain traction. Possibly looking forward to Zeke possibly being there in Week One. All of a sudden, they have stalled. Question to you is Zeke going to play in week number one?
That's a great question. He will if he caves in. Dallas will is not gonna cave in on this one. The Jerry Jones has stuck his foot in the sand, and this is gonna be it's up to Ezekiel Elliott if he wants to get some money, if he wants to be paid a little bit like Le'Veon Bell, higher than Le'Veon Bell,
Right.
somewhere in the Todd Gurley, maybe not all the guaranteed money Todd Gurley's getting. I think Todd Gurley is getting guaranteed excess of 40 million. It won't be that. Zeke's going to have to accept somewhere in the 30 million guaranteed. Boo hoo. Um, so he's going to have to accept that, or he will not be on the field week one. And if he's on the field week one, Dallas better be very careful with him. I'm
Yes.
talking about maybe 10 to 15 carries. He cannot get 30 carries or something ridiculous. He's not in football shape. He doesn't know some of the nuances of the offense that they implemented
Hmm.
with Kellen Moore.
Right.
Um, he knows run Zeke left and run Zeke right now. He doesn't know some of the stuff, the terminology they put in. So I'd be a little wary. These plays are complicated, Michael. Once you get to the NFL level, you know that very well.
Right.
Once listen, if he goes the wrong way on a play, it could doom that one play could wreck the game. Yeah,
It could end his season.
yeah. So somebody goes the wrong way. He goes the wrong way. Dak gets hurt. Something happens. The play gets misdirected, fumble, and Giants are going the other way for a touchdown. Now they're lucky they're playing the New York Giants, and they're not the Houston Texans traveling to New Orleans for Monday Night Football. That would be a little scary.
Right.
But so they're getting the New York Giants, so that's a lot better for the Cowboys to get this victory with Ezekiel Elliott only getting 5 to 10 carries. I would say about 10 carries most, really, to be honest. Pollard and Alfred Morris have been in training camp.
Hmm.
They should get the majority of snaps. But if Zeke's playing, if he's signed for week one, yeah, you throw him in there. But like I said, this is a limited 10 carry, maybe about 3 series Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not joking, man. You cannot run him into the ground because there's also that he gets hurt. Not only he goes the wrong way on a play,
Yep.
he's in Bahamas football shape. We'd all like to be in Bahamas shape, but he's not in real football shape. So this could be a little scary. I've been watching the NFL for excess of about 35 years. And anytime a player misses a season or a training camp or an extended period of time, they come back. A lot of them hear something pop, and next thing you know, something's wrong. And we don't want that because they what they do is they come back and they extend themselves too much.
Right.
A la Des Bryant, that idiot. He hasn't played football in a while. He signs with the Saints, right? So he wants to prove to them he's going all out and running every route like he hasn't run. And he just left McDonald's, right? And now he's running all these routes like he's been in football shape. And what happened?
Yep.
Pop. Achilles
Achilles.
pop.
Yep.
Yeah, so Zeke's got to be real careful, and the Cowboys have to be real careful on how they manage his time and limit his ability on the field. But yes, could he be there for week one? Yes, if Ezekiel Elliott takes a little bit less than what he wants, it's up to Ezekiel Elliott. He will be there week one.
Yeah, you are 100% correct on just on that. Like you kind of nailed my point there on the head. He might be there for week one, but he definitely will not be impressing those fantasy owners with his performance like on the field. He'll be getting 5 to 10 5 to 10 carries with like 36 yards maybe tops.
Yes.
So and the positive thing for the Cowboys is they are playing the New York Football Giants, horrible NFL team right now. I was listening to a podcast on the way into work this morning, and they are saying that NFL teams are starting to tank, i.e., the Miami Dolphins. We will get into their trades in the next segment here.
Right.
So I'm almost on the back of my head thinking that the New York Giants might be able to tanking this year too. Let Eli, play the 16 games, tank, lose 16 games, and then get the first overall pick again. They got Daniel Jones there. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
But we will talk about that next segment here. But now back to the Ezekiel Elliott thing. He better sign quick because look at all these signings that the Cowboys are like happening. Their cap room is quickly running out of space. And I almost want to say they're doing this on purpose. They are doing this to poke Zeke a little bit. Like, hey, you could have had this much money if you would have signed a month ago. Oh, you could have had this much money if you would have signed 2 weeks ago. Now we're down to only $10 million in the cap. What do you want us to like do? So the Cowboys had the rights to Ezekiel Elliott for 4 more years, right? 4 or 5 more years, actually. So this is not a Le'Veon Bell situation. He cannot sit out this year and become a free agent. It just doesn't work like that. Because he is still under contract for
Right.
2 years for
2
sure.
more years, and then
And
they
then
could franchise him 2 more, and that's 4.
So there you go. So is Ezekiel Elliott going to sit out for 4 years of non-football contact, not getting paid? I don't think so. So you are exactly right. The Cowboys have put their foot down. This is what we're offering. If you want to play, awesome. We'll love to have you. If you if you don't, enjoy the $6 or $7 million that you made.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yes, sir.
So let's go on and move on to the next thing that I kind of alluded to, like a little bit. Some big trades happened over the weekend. Saturday was the final cut down date for the NFL. They had to get down to the 62-man roster. That's 52 active players and 10 players on the practice squad. And Miami Dolphins traded off basically their best wide receiver in Kenny Stills. Houston Texans traded with Seattle Seahawks to get rid of Jadeveon Clowney. I think that kind of hits home for you the most there. So what was your biggest trade that happened on Saturday?
Well, there's a bunch of them, but the big one is Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills going to Texans for 2 first rounders and a second rounder. Laramie Tunsil is a nasty football player, man. He's come a long way from, I don't know if you remember that draft day a couple years ago when somebody put that picture of him with the bong. He had the mask on.
Right.
He's come a long way since that, man. This kid's the real deal. He's nasty in the run game, and he can protect the blind side of any quarterback in the NFL. And he's young. We're talking 25, 26 years old. I have no idea what the hell the Miami Dolphins are doing. I don't know what Coach Brian Flores is doing. He's new there. They're accumulating picks. I can see that. But to get rid of a tackle like Laramie Tunsil to protect your quarterback's blind side is kind of ridiculous to me. And I don't care if it is for 2, and to get rid of your best wide receiver. Good Stills can play.
Yep.
He's not a Pro Bowl level receiver, but he's just Kenny Stills might be right outside of that top 20 in receiving. He's really good football player.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what they're doing. Yes, they're accumulating the Texans draft picks, but you know what those picks are going to be? And they're nice first round picks. I love the draft, so I don't want to poo-poo on it. It's too bad, but those picks are going to be, the Texans are going to go 11-5.
Yeah.
12-4.
20
those
plus.
picks are going to be in the 27, 28 range. So the Texans are willing to give up 228 picks. That's fine to protect Deshaun Watson's blind side. I think it's a smart investment. But it seems like the Dolphins are tanking. And in the NFL, I don't believe in tanking. You just go out there and you put your best foot forward, and you just play. What I didn't understand about the Dolphins though is making Ryan Fitzpatrick the starting quarterback. You have to see what you have in Josh Rosen.
Yes.
We know what Ryan Fitzpatrick can do, and I like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Good football player. I think he's a guy that can win you a lot of games. He can also lose you some games, but he's a good player. He's a good backup, and he's a good starter if he has a nice team around him. But you have to see what you have in Josh Rosen. You have to see that. And so starting Ryan Fitzpatrick does absolutely nothing for me if I was a Dolphins fan. Josh Rosen has to get the keys to that car ASAP right away and see what he has. Now, if he falters, and then you have the backup in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So you're like, I just don't know what direction the Dolphins are going in. It's very weird to me. I know Coach Flores has to be upset. You can tell in his press conferences, he doesn't seem super thrilled. But that was the biggest trade for me. That one, the Texans getting Laramie Tunsil and getting Kenny Stills. The Texans are going all in here on offense. The defense they think is going to be just good. It used to be the Texans when they had, just a few years ago, they were still winning the division, but they had a great defense and just a good offense. Now we're switching the Texans. I see Coach Bill O'Brien, who is now the GM now. He's now going all in on his offense, and his defense is just going to be good, not great. So I see him. I see him working there, and I think it's a good recipe. When you have a Deshaun Watson as your quarterback, you go all in with him. You go all in with Deshaun Watson. Laramie Tunsil is going to be a great offensive left tackle. I had to look up some of the film on him. He's a mauler.
Yes.
He's not just one of those that is just a good pass protector. He'll maul your ass, and so on the run game. So this is a big deal for the Texans to get this man, and 2 first-round picks. I'm okay with it, and you plus you bring back Kenny Stills.
Yeah,
who's a really good football player. I'm good with it.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, let me hit on the Miami Dolphin point real quick here. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a average starter. He is a great backup quarterback. We saw this in Tampa Bay when he came in for those three or four games. He lit up the NFL for 300 plus yard games, 5 or 6 touchdowns. But he could not sustain that once he quote unquote got the keys to the castle. Once he got to the keys to the castle, he kind of fizzled out like a tad bit. He is a great backup quarterback that can come in and hold down the fort for 4 or 5 games. He cannot play a full 16 game season. That's why I think he's a below average to average quarterback. They still might go 5-11 with him at the helm, but they're not going to be very, very pretty games. Now, just to add to your point about the Houstons, they are loading up on offense. We saw last year with the Kansas City Chiefs that you can win a lot of ball games if you just simply outscore the opponent. I'm talking 50 plus points a game. That Kansas City defense was horrible. And guys, I'm a Kansas City fan. That was the worst defense I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm 32 years old.
You guys were one stupid play away from being in the Super Bowl.
One stupid defensive play from being in the Super Bowl. So with that being said, with the NFL, the way it is shaping out to be, this is a offensive league. They want to see 56 to 52 scores, and they just want to see a defense that's just basically there to get a couple pick sixes. That is what they want to see. They don't want to see big hits anymore. They don't want to see a 6-9 game, a 6-3 game anymore. And the Houston, they're building to win in the playoffs. With the loss of Andrew Luck to the Colts, they know that the Colts offense cannot outscore the Houston offense. The Colts defense might be better than the Houston, but their offense cannot outscore them. Even with the signing of Brian Hoyer, which the Patriots cut, I believe it was Monday. I believe he got cut. The Colts are still going to be mediocre. The biggest signing in my eyes, though, totally shifts gears here, it's got to be Shady McCoy to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. Shady McCoy still has something left in the tank. He played with Andy Reid in Philly. He is coming to a dynamic offense that was even more dynamic with Kareem Hunt in the lineup, and they're basically adding a person like Kareem Hunt with Shady McCoy in that backfield. So all you fantasy owners that picked up the Kansas City Chiefs running back, you guys need to drop him right now. Pick up Shady McCoy because he is going to be the starter. He is going to lead that team in rushing and pass receptions. Andy Reid is going to run him into the dirt. I'm talking 30 plus touches a game. Look out for that 100%.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. LeSean McCoy, I think my son picked him up on our fantasy thing. LeSean McCoy is going to be the real deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, he may not be. That's the thing on these week ones. He doesn't know the system all the way. So look for Damian Williams to get more of the touches and more of the carries. But once LeSean McCoy gets up to speed, he's the real deal. He had his career low last year, but he'll be rejuvenated with Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's something about a new scenery always brings positive vibes to a NFL team. Or I should say a NFL player. 100%. Now let me address the tanking issue that you brought up about the Miami
Yeah.
Dolphins here. You said you don't believe in tanking in the NFL, but it is showing that it is starting to work. The Cleveland Browns, they went what, 1-15 or 2-14 a couple years ago. They acquired all those first round draft picks, and now
Yes.
they're picked to win their division
Six,
at
seven,
what, 10-6 or like 11-5
six,
per
seven.
the ESPN. So
Yes.
Miami Dolphins, they could tank this year. They can get a first round pick, and then they got two more for first round picks happening too. So the Miami Dolphins, like you said, this is a
Yeah.
first to worst league or
They,
a worst to first league. So they have an opportunity after
they, they,
this year.
You're 100% correct, Michael. They're stockpiling draft picks. They also got a second round pick from Houston. But the thing of it is, you have to know if you're going to get Justin Herbert or Tua Valoa from Alabama. So you have to see what you have in Josh Rosen. You cannot go with Ryan Fitzpatrick the entire year and just leave Josh Rosen, on ice. You've got to play Josh Rosen and see what you have. Because if he sucks, then you know that you have to go draft Justin Herbert or Tua Valoa or this kid from Utah State whose name is eluding me. That's I hear is going in the first round.
Yeah.
Big kid. So you've got to know that before you've got to know what you have in Josh Rosen before you can make any determination in the draft by drafting a quarterback.
Or on the other side of that coin, if they want to draft a college quarterback in their first round pick, they want to keep they want to keep Josh Rosen a secret, so there's more trade value out there
Right.
for him. So a team like the Dallas Cowboys might offer a second round pick for him, because he could definitely suck 100%. But if nobody else knows that except for Miami, because they see him in practice day in and day out, right now his trade stock is still high. The minute he goes out on Sundays and then he sucks, he goes from a second round pick
Yeah.
to fourth and fifth and sixth round picks. So, I mean, is Miami a genius on this? Like, possibly.
I mean, no, but they're making his stock go worse than what it is. He couldn't beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick. So they're being stupid on this angle. You have got to start Josh Rosen. I don't understand the starting of Ryan Fitzpatrick. What is Ryan Fitzpatrick? 24 years old. You got to see what you have in him.
Oh,
I mean, this is stupid.
well,
This is really dumb. I don't understand what's happening here.
yeah, but it is dumb, but it is what it is. We will find out all more when the NFL season starts in what, 54 hours, give or take
Yes.
a couple minutes. Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears Thursday night football. But before we jump into NFL talk even more, let's go ahead and switch over to the amateur league here. Jalen Hurts goes off Sunday night for Oklahoma. He goes for 20 to 23 in the air for 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, 16 carries for 176 yards for 3 more touchdowns. This is a better performance than any other of the Heisman quarterbacks that came from Oklahoma in the last 16 years.
Yes.
With that being said, his Heisman odds now are now 3-1, tied with the Clemson quarterback in Trevor Lawrence and then an Alabama quarterback Tua. Do you think Jalen Hurts is going to win the Heisman this year?
I never like to do these type of predictions. Like I mean, after week one, I always look at people like, really, are you serious? We're talking about Heisman week one, but this was kind of scary for me as a University of Texas fan. I watched that kid go out there and ball out, and he looked absolutely fabulous and comfortable. He missed on maybe 5 throws. I know he had 3 incompletions, but maybe there were 5. That was it. I mean, this kid. And what was scary is this Houston team they went up against will be really good.
Yes.
This is not. I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is not a Houston team that's gonna be 3-9. This Houston team will be 9-3, 10-2, and this will be one of the losses. And I just looked at the Oklahoma schedule, and look, he's got South Dakota next week. Get ready for those numbers again.
Right.
He's got UCLA the following week. Get ready for those numbers again. Then he's got Texas Tech and Kansas. I mean, are you kidding me? This guy will be the number one in the Heisman after 5 weeks. And what's crazy is it's such a cupcake schedule. Now, they do these schedules 5 years in advance, so they don't know UCLA is going to be kind of horrible right now with Chip Kelly. So UCLA, when they did the schedule 5 years ago, it looked juicy. They go, at UCLA. But let me just tell you something. In the first 5 weeks, Houston will be their toughest opponent, and they made them look like crap.
Yes.
So this is an easy schedule for Oklahoma. The only problem they're going to have is October 12th, baby. The Red River rivalry is against Texas. That's going to be Jalen Hurts' first Tex to go up against 4 and 5 star recruits that are actually coached well, coached up, and playing well. So yes, absolutely. I hate to say it. I'm doing something against that I normally don't do, but yes, he will be the front runner on everybody's Heisman minds in 5 weeks and now and in 5 weeks from now. And going into that Oklahoma game, the Oklahoma versus Texas game will be Jalen Hurts' biggest test he's had since a national championship game. That'll be huge for him. And Justin Herbert had a chance to be that, and then Oregon blew it to Auburn in the last like quarter and a half there. So yeah, I mean, no, it's right now it's Jalen Hurts, man. I hate to say it. It pains me to say that.
Yeah, and you are 100% right. Oregon did blow that game versus Auburn 100% down there at Texas Stadium on was Saturday night. I believe it was.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma is starting to become Heisman U. What they have 2 straight Heisman
Yeah.
trophy winners, and with Jalen
Yes.
Hurts' performance last night, he could almost play half of what he done in week
Right.
week 1 and still blow away the competition. I mean, 6 touchdowns from a
Yeah.
quarterback, 3 on the air, 3 on the ground, 300 yards passing, 160 plus yards on the ground. That is phenomenal. I mean, you can take away his rushing yards, and he still got more yards than any quarterback in the NCAA Division I football on Saturday. It's just
Yeah.
that is mind-boggling to me.
I think there's going to be some other candidates though. I mean, I think Sam Ellinger is going to be there when it's all said and done, especially if they go head to head. Now they don't play each other, but if Sam Ellinger outperforms Jalen Hurts in the Red River rivalry October 12th,
Right.
that's a big deal. And the kid Taylor out of Wisconsin was phenomenal. And if he runs for 2,000 plus yards, and Wisconsin they got some big games. If they
You're right,
you know
you're right.
if they beat Michigan and things like that, I mean Taylor will be right there. So this and the kid from Washington State, the new quarterback, his numbers were phenomenal. But the Washington State's quarterback's numbers are always phenomenal. But if they can win games, he'll be right there in the end. There's still some decent candidates, but yeah, it pains me to say I'd have to put Hurts 1 right now.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's a popularity contest. I mean, because
Yeah.
the voters, the media, everybody wants a big name to come out of a big name school. So they want an Alabama quarterback to win. They want an Oklahoma quarterback to win. They don't want somebody from Wisconsin or Washington State
Yeah.
or Boise State to like win. That they might throw their name up there in the mix just to get some of those fans to like watch, see if they win. But they at the end of the day, the media, the voters, they are pinning this on a Tua versus Jalen Hurts Heisman Trophy championship because it makes for great news. Let's totally be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean I know it's a popularity contest, but I tell you, if Taylor puts up those couple thousand yards, I mean Wisconsin's Big Ten football. It'll be and Justin Herbert has a chance to come back. I would say Nix, the quarterback from Auburn, he threw a couple interceptions. If he can take Auburn to new heights, even though his stats, weren't great, he still won the football game.
Right.
He'll be right there as well. But yeah, man, Jalen Hurts actually looked better than what I thought he would look. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Nix, the guy from Auburn. People are really high on him, even though he did have a mediocre game. But let's go ahead and worry about that, in about
Yeah.
January, like when that time comes. But right now, like we have one more team to break down before we get into our preseason playoffs, AFC playoffs, NFC playoffs, like obviously, and we're going to break down the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, they open up Week 1 at Chicago, taking on the Bears. Who do you got winning this game?
At Chicago, no, I'll take Chicago to win this game.
Yeah, I have Chicago winning as well. I don't think Packers are going to go into Soldier Field with Aaron Rodgers playing very little preseason football like at all and do well. Week 2, they're at home taking on the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. I'll take Minnesota at home. I mean, no, excuse me. I'll take Green Bay at home. They'll get them.
Yeah, I have the Packers winning as well. I think Minnesota might pull out this division. This game right here, you said it be a four. September games matter just as much as games
Yeah.
in December, and this week 2 game might determine the division here. Week 3, they're at home taking on the Denver Broncos. We have them both beating the Denver Broncos. Week 4, they're at home taking on Philadelphia. Have them both beating the Eagles. Week 5, we have them both losing to the Cowboys. With this at week 6, they're back at home taking on the Detroit Lions. Who do you got?
Yeah, they got a bunch of primetime games. They're gonna mollywop Detroit, man. This pains me to see, but I got Green Bay at 5-1 right now. That's painful for me.
You actually have them at 4-2. You have them losing to the
Do I have them
Cowboys.
at 4-2?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. You have them losing to the
Oh, thank
Cowboys
you.
and the Bears week
Okay,
1.
well,
Let
thank you,
me.
thank you for that. That still pains me to have them at 4-2.
Right. Let me get a pen that works here so we can mark it down. Sheesh. Next week they're at home taking on Oakland. We have them both beating Oakland. Following week at Kansas City at Arrowhead losing. Both of us had that. Following week traveling to the Chargers. Had them both losing that game. Had them both beating Carolina. Catapulting us into a bye week at San Francisco. Loss for you. Loss for me. San Francisco or the New York Football Giants. We had them both losing to the Giants as well. Or sorry, you had them losing to the Giants. I had them beating the Giants. Had them both beating Washington. Giving us a final pick here. Chicago Bears at home in week 15. Who do you got?
They'll pay back the Bears on this one. I have them losing to the Bears week 1.
Yeah, I had them beating the Bears at well. Something about Lambeau in December, as you know, games matter just as much as in September as they do in December. But it's definitely harder to play at Lambeau in December for whatever reason, the cold, the rain,
Yes,
whatever you want to say. Week 16, they travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Who do you got?
that's a loss for me. They're going to lose to Minnesota. I have Minnesota doing pretty well this year.
Yeah, I have them losing to Minnesota as well. This division I think is going to come down to the Vikings and the Packers and the common opponents because they're going to split the series here. Get us to week 17 matchup at Detroit. Who do you got?
What do I have them at now? Is that 9 wins or 8 wins?
Let's see here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 7 wins.
Okay, I haven't beaten Detroit going 8-8. I think the division comes down to the Bears and the Vikings. So yeah, I have them going 8-8 here.
Yeah, I had them going 9-6 going into this Week 17 matchup, and I think Detroit snubs them in this Week 17 matchup because they are like right there on the crust that they have to win this game to win the division, and if they lose, they're out of the playoffs. And a division foe loves to play spoiler. They're going to get really hyped for this game, and Detroit Lions are going to come and smack them in the mouth. I have faith in them. This
Yeah. Okay.
like this game. So so that puts you at them at 8-8 and 9-7. Uh,
Yeah.
this I believe that will knock them out of the division championship.
Yeah.
For you, I have them tied with Minnesota in the championship. So we have to put it into the playoff bracket to see who actually wins the division on my side.
Okay.
So any thoughts on their season? Do you think they're going to do well with the new head coach with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers already starting to bunk heads a little bit?
No, I mean, listen, with Aaron Rodgers, you always have a chance to win games. I mean, I have them 8-8. I mean, they could sneak in the playoffs. I've always liked their offensive line. It's always been pretty,
Hmm.
they've always drafted well there. Bakhtiari, protecting him and Brian Bulaga, they're really good there. Defensively, they'll be playing without Clay Matthews this year. They signed Preston Smith to take Clay Matthews' spot. Preston Smith, number 94 in your Washington Redskin program, who I'm surprised the Redskins let him go. But they didn't want to match that money that Green Bay paid at him. Preston Smith, formerly out of Mississippi State, played with Dak Prescott. Really good pass rusher. But and then their new toy, Rashawn Gary from Michigan, defensive end. Um, we'll see how those players work out in the end. But I think it's an 8-8 ball club, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do it well enough to win a few of those games in the end. But no, I don't see them doing well with the first year head coach right off the bat. And it's not necessarily just a knock on them. I just think that the Bears and the Vikings have better talent, better personnel at their respective teams. And Devontae Adams, I like him, man. He's climbed up the charts there. 3 years ago, he's an unknown,
Right.
and now he's Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy. And Devontae Adams is a big-time receiver. I'm sure he went probably second round or somebody's fantasy. He's a good receiver, but
Number
no,
one for me.
yeah, 8-8 sounds about right. And they're going to beat each other up. The black and blue division, they'll beat each other up.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit will go 10-6, 9-7. The Bears will go 10-6, 9-7. And listen, how we say it. The NFL is an 8-8 league, but you could be 7-9 or 9-7, depending upon how you win a couple of close games.
So let's just play hypothetically here. Let's say the Packers go 3-13 on the season and just totally blockbuster, horrible. Aaron Rodgers just has a god awful year.
Yeah.
And Matt LaFleur just can't get the plays in right. Who do you think the heat is going to fall on? Is it going to be on Aaron Rodgers, or is it going to be on the rookie head coach Matt LaFleur?
It'll be on the rookie head coach. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is almost like a god in Green Bay.
Right.
Listen, the guy is just almost untouchable. Think about how much the Cowboys organization loved Romo. Well, this is like Romo on steroids. They love him.
Correct.
Imagine if Romo had won one Super Bowl and put it in his back pocket. Romo could have thrown 8 interceptions one night, and they'd have said, it's Romo. He's awesome. Because, he's got that one Super Bowl in his back pocket. Aaron Rodgers, it'll fall on Matt LaFleur. Because they'll be like, hey, how come you couldn't win with Aaron Rodgers, buddy?
Right.
So, no, Matt LaFleur will be gone very quickly. They go 3-13.
So you think if they have a bad season, like he'll be out the door?
He'll be out the door.
Okay.
Listen, you and I should be able to go up there, and I'll be your assistant head coach. I'll coach the offensive line, and we should have Aaron Rodgers at least 8-8.
Here is how I would coach Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know what? You call your plays, we'll go with it. So
yeah,
because he is smart enough to make calls at the like at the line. He sees safeties plays too high, just run a drag underneath. He made Jordy Nelson millions upon millions of dollars by doing just that. Jordy, you run at 4-4, you run past the guy, and I'll throw it as far as I can. That is what they're going to do with it. But that's exactly what he's doing with Adams, and that's why Adams is going to be a fantasy explosion this year is because of Aaron Rodgers, 100%. So
and then you got Geronimo Allen on the other side. He's a good receiver. Yep.
Yes.
And you're right, Mr. Jordy Nelson in your Kansas State program there,
number 27.
Who single-handedly beat my Longhorns in one game.
Yes.
He caught a couple of long touchdowns. I was shocked. I was like, who's this kid? I mean, I kind of knew who he was, and then all of a sudden he's running punts back.
Yep.
And he literally beat the Longhorns by himself in one game.
So let me tell you a little story about Jordy here. Me and him went to rival high schools. He was a senior my sophomore year. My first time on a high school varsity football field, starting for the first time. Me at outside backer, soaking wet, 45 pounds. I thought I was the biggest shit in the world. Jordy Nelson comes on a quarterback option. He hurdles me, kicks me in the back of the head, and knocks me clean out. How does a person knock you out by hurdling you, kicking you in the back of the head?
Wow. So he was a hell of an athlete, right?
He's a freak of an athlete.
And he was a senior, and you were just a sophomore.
Yep.
And I'm actually, you know what? He doesn't get enough run for being as great as he was. He retired early too. He's another one, retired at 30 years old. I mean, everybody, Jordy still got about 3 more years left, right? No. He's been playing football. Think about how long he's been playing football. By the time he reached 30, he probably played, Pop Warner. You've been playing for. Yeah. I played 7 years and I was burned out.
Right.
And I kind of didn't want to go through practice anymore and 2-a-days and drinking all the water I can and And then back then we talked about that. They didn't even let us get water.
Yeah.
And if you snuck to got water, you were weak.
Exactly. But guys, that's going to be it for today's show because we are weak and I do need some water. My horse is getting a little hoarse here. But join us tomorrow. We're going to talk some more NFL as the season gets even 24 hours closer. I'm getting excited. I can feel it. I got the sweats and stuff.
Yes.
But we're going to break down our NFC, AFC playoffs and pick our Super Bowl champions tomorrow. So join us tomorrow as we get really deep into depth into the preseason ball here. Okay. So, any closing thoughts, Marcus, before we head out?
No, I got to prep for my Super Bowl, my picks there. We're picking the playoffs, so 6 on one side and 6 on the other. That's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, just let me help you guys out here. Detroit Lions do not win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh my God.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
We out.
All right. See you later.